Hello, I'm Dr. Natalie Ogawa, and I'm a specialist in behavioral neurology. I'll be working with you today. Let me be the first to say how much we appreciate you volunteering for this important round of tests. Now, before we start, I just need you to confirm some personal information. What is your first and last name? Date of birth? Home address? Are you currently employed? What are the medications you're taking, if any? Okay, perfect. Now, these questions are going to get a little bit more personal, so I apologize in advance if they make you uncomfortable. I realize that these may take you by surprise as they weren't on the initial form that you filled out, but, well, we want to make sure you're as ideal a candidate as we think you are, both physically and psychologically. All right? Any history of mental illness in your family, including but not limited to depression, bipolar disorder, or schizophrenia? Right. Do you engage in risky behaviors such as unprotected sex with multiple partners or frequent recreational drug use? No judgment. Okay, last one. Do you question your very existence or the perception of reality in that what you see is actually an illusion fabricated and maintained by some invisible force that could be indifferent to humanity or even malintentioned? Okay, good to know. Okay, good news. Seems like our assumptions were correct. You are a perfect candidate for this study. Wonderful. All right. Now that we got the boring paperwork out of the way, let me tell you a little bit more about why you're here. You see, I work for an organization that believes that telecommunication, namely video, is extremely impactful on humans on an individual level. However, we recognize that it has its limitations. It is a medium that is impersonal to the viewer. Let's consider the television show. Sure, you may grow to care for or loathe characters, but what if they cared for or loathed you in return? We mean to create that possibility. We want video viewing to be a fully engaging experience tailored to the viewer. You know, we've already started with a little show called Live from the Pine Cellar, and we've received some great responses so far. People really love interacting with an endearing host in real time. It's a connection, and humans need to feel connection to one another, whether real or imagined. We aim to satiate that vital need. I'm sure you're wondering what these are for. Well, these will act as your doorway to these new connections and relationships. And this is your key. Oh, no, don't worry. This is just something to relax you so you can focus. Just an extra push to get you through that door, so to speak, as that first step is a bit of a doozy. So, let's get started. You know, I used to be afraid of needles. Seriously. They fact, I was terrified of them all the way through med school. I would quietly slip behind my classmates during any demonstrations that involved extractions or injections. I was really good at hiding. However, it was during a visit to my university's hospital that my luck ran out. I got trapped in the front of a group when a phlebotomist was sticking a patient. The last thing that I remember was seeing patient's skin buckle under the slight pressure of a butterfly needle, just like this one. And it reminded me of a pen going through tissue paper. Just a prick. That didn't hurt too bad. When I woke up, I was in a hospital bed, and my professor was sitting right next to me. He asked me if I wanted to be a doctor. I said that's all I ever wanted to be. Then he handed me a box with a venipuncture training kit and told me I had until Monday. I had all weekend to practice, and that he'd test me when Monday came around. If I didn't do it, he'd fail me. That night, I couldn't keep anything down. My stomach eventually settled, though, because, it had nothing in it. And I forced myself to sit with the needle right next to me. When I felt comfortable enough with that, I held the needle in my hand, just like that. Then, when I felt comfortable with that, I started preparing the IV. You know, I'd be lying if I didn't say that I stuck myself a few times. But you know, I only lost a few drops of blood from those training sharps. I could have lost so much more if I had let my fear win. You see, fear prevents progress. Fear stops you from taking that first step, and then the second step, and then the third. All done. That wasn't so bad, was it? So, are you ready to walk through that doorway? Well, based on how glassy your eyes are getting, I think you are. You may begin. You know, I'm excited for you. Really, I am. You are gonna have one hell of a trip. Subject to... gosh, I forgot your name. A172 Vine. I hope you enjoy the show.